Hi everyone, it's Nabo Scooter. I saw this beautiful dress on your thumbnail and the picture you're seeing right on your screen, and I decided to make it for us to see. So I have 2 yards of fabric folded into two, and I folded it into a triangle form like you see me do, meaning I folded it into four. And just for you to know that we have the back and the front together folded right here. You can see this folded side and this side is the open part. Okay, that's where we are going to be cutting our armhole from. So the next thing we are going to do right now is to divide your shoulder measurement into two. Okay, now on this part that is V, check where you can get your shoulder measurement on a particular place and mark it straight like you see me do right now. After marking your shoulder measurement, the next thing is to get your armhole length. And for the client I'm working with, she's not too big, she's a size 12, and she is size 12 up is 10. So I'm marking 8 inch right there as you see me do right now. Ensure to keep your tape rule straight, please. If you're a big size, you can take between 9 to 9.5, okay? Now, after marking that 8 inch there, the next thing you're going to do right now is to divide your bust measurement by 4, okay? And this individual we're working with, our bust measurement is 37. Divide by 4 is 9.25. So you see me marking 9.25 right now. After marking the 9.25, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to add 1.5 inches for seam allowance. I've marked the 1.5 right now. After marking there, I'll go up to the shoulder. I'm going to mark 2.5 inches for neck and 1 inches for the depth of the back neck. We are cutting both back and front, and I'll curve it like you see me do. The next thing is to get the front neck, which is 2.5 inches, also the neck depth, and I'm going to curve it like you see me do. Please do just that. Why we are cutting 2.5 depth is because by the time you sew it will be 3 inches, okay? And the back, by the time you sew the 1 inch, it will be 1.5. Now I came in with my curve rule on the amble part, and I'm going to curve it in. Notice something, the handle here is not too deep because the person says she doesn't want a handle to be too revealing. So if you want yours to be revealing like that of the thumbnail, please take your hand a little bit inside on the handle part, and I'm going to connect it down to where I have the fabric edge. After doing that, the next thing is to get the length of my dress. Don't forget, the dress has a joining. So from the shoulder top there, we are going to take 33 inches because the length of this individual is 38. So we are going to mark 33 from the shoulder like you see me do right now. So after marking that, I'm going to connect it gradually, and I'm going to connect the line right now to make it into a full flared dress. After marking that, I'm going to come in with my scissors, and I'm going to cut from the neck with the back neck, which is 1 inch right there as you see me do right now. So I connected it from my 1.5. That's what I'm still explaining for us to understand. I'll cut from the back neck like so to my neck, and I'm going to take from at this part. Please, if you want your handle to show, take this downwards, okay? Open it a bit on the handle part. Just cut it through like you see me do right now. And I'm cutting with half an inch down there. I added half an inch down because I'm going to join a fabric to that, okay? Now I want to separate back and front. I'm going to just take the inner one outward. That will be my back, and the one that I have the front neck that I've marked out will be my front. And I'm going to come in with my scissors and I'll cut that off. Now after cutting that off, I'm going to separate them as you see me do. And remember, this other part has a joining. I'll bring my fabric and ensure it has I'll place it properly, and the back will have an opening to make it easy for me to wear from my head. So because there's no zipper, I'll come from my shoulder top there as you see me do, and I'm going to mark between 5 to 6 inch, but I marked 6 inch. And I'll come with my scissors and I'll just open it through at the back like so. You can see. So after I've done that, the next thing for me to do is to join at this part. Please pardon me, my fabric was not enough. I was trying to mice 3 yards for this particular style, so I decided to place the fabric not facing the same angle. You could see the fabric has a pattern. Okay, so if yours does not have a pattern, please, if it has a pattern rather, please ensure to make it align properly. Okay, now that I've done this, I'm going to face front facing front, and I'm going to put half an inch upward using the savage of the fabric where you have the right up of the fabric, and I'm going to mark exactly tracing out from the one underneath, and I'll mark it straight like you see me do. Coming with my scissors, I'm going to add half inch that I used to join it. For me, I prefer having excess than having shortage. By the time I join it like you see me do, I'll place them together front facing front, and I'll join it through for you to see. Now I've joined it. What I'm going to do is to arrange my fabric properly, and I'm going to turn it, ensuring to see the front part of it, and I'm going to cut through with the excess I have. I'm sorry, some part of the dress is not showing, so I decided to trim it off and make it even. Okay, so ensure to do that when you finish joining. You never can tell. So after cutting this, I'm going to check my length to ensure I have the perfect length that I want, which is 33 and a half. The half inch is to join the gathers we are going to add on this length to make it 38 full length. Okay, so now I want to also check the down part to ensure the gathers I want to have, I will know how to calculate it and go about it with the fabric I have left. Remember, I told you I'm using 3 yards for this client. So the next thing I want to do right now is just to make a choice of the fabric I want to use to do combination. We have white, we have like 3 colors, we have black there, but I decided to go with the red fabric to pop out this fabric. Don't forget, that's the red I want to use because the fabric you use for your combinations matters. It will either kill it or it will bring it out. So the red will really bring it out. Okay. So this is the fabric I want to use. I now remember that it was not iron because I just actually saw it and decided to make the video. So I really didn't plan this. Okay. I had of time. So I'll go over to my ironing board and iron it and come back and show us. Now I've ironed it, I went on to cut a strip of fabric where I want to use to turn my armhole because I want the red to reflect in front of my fabric. So I measured my armhole and it was 9.5. So I decided to cut 11 for length and 1.5 for the width. I decided to cut 4 pieces for all the armholes. So I'm going to be sewing from the back of the fabric facing front, and I'm going to fold it twice and I'll top stitch on it like you see me illustrate right now. Now this back part where we'll have the opening, I measured what I have there, which is 5.5, and I decided to you multiply 5.5 by 2, which is 11. Okay, and that part is on fold, so 11, and I added 1 inch, making it 12. So I'm going to fold it and sew that part and the armhole back and front, and I'll show you guys. I am done sewing they're humble. You can see how the red popped this material out and gave it a perfect good look. So now I have folded it. You can see the way I did it, even part of the red is showing behind the fabric to make it look neat and good finishing. The next thing is to measure your client, your neck of this your individual you're using, and the neck of this person was 17 inches, but I went on to cut a strip of fabric measuring 18 inches, half inch to join the both sides, and I decided to cut 2 inch on fold, and I folded my fabric inside like you see me illustrate right now. So I'm trying to show you guys the measurement. It's 18, but the actual neck measurement is 17 by 1.5. Okay, and I folded it inside. Okay, now you could choose to use yours 2 inch as you prefer. I used an interface called cloth gum, the very light one, to interface on my fabric, and I folded half inch as you can see, and I laid them on top, ironed it properly to use on the neck. I'm going to get the gown already that I've piped everywhere, and I'm going to come use the front. This is the front. I will start with the front when I want to do. So on this neck, I decided to mark the middle point of the fabric that I cut out for the neck. And I also went ahead to notch my fabric, which is the gown. Okay, you can see me laying them together to get the middle point, and I notched it. After notching it, I'm going to place, please pardon me, when I was doing this, I made a mistake, and I sewed it from front. It's actually supposed to be from the back because I actually corrected myself off camera. So you're supposed to sew it from back, not from your front, please. Pardon me, please. So you can see me pinning all the way. I pinned all the way to the edge, okay, of the neck. That's exactly what you're going to do. I was trying to get my pins, they were a bit far. Like I told you, I didn't plan for this video. So I pinned it all the way to the neck. Okay. This is how you're going to take your time. Don't be in a haste, please. Pin it properly. And the next thing, when I'm done with this front, I'll show you how I pin the back. So I'm done pinning the front part, as you can see. Now the next thing is to pick my back, and I'm going to place the back armhole part to this armhole part, and I'm going to pin it as well. That's just what I did, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other part because it's like I didn't show that part. But please just take your time and watch it carefully. You understand what I did on this part is a little bit tricky. So like I was saying, I'm going to do the same thing on the other part, and I will go ahead and sew it on my sewing machine for you to see. You can see I went ahead and I've stitched it round. Okay, now that I've stitched it round, I had to close this part of the edge that will have the button. Okay, look at it. I'm trying to show you guys. I stitched this part that will have the button. I closed it in. You can see how neatly done this is. Okay, now on this part I'll have a loop. I made a loop myself with the red fabric. Okay, and I'm taking exactly what I will use. I folded it by 1.5, and I'm going to stock it in from the inside, and I'm going to just sew through it this way with 1/2 inch, and I'm going to turn it the way I turned it now, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you guys. Now I am done sewing that part that I added the loop. The next thing is to turn it properly and give it a good nice press to make your work come out neat. So the next thing is to bend this inner one inside and take the other ironed part of that one, place it on top of it, and you're going to just stop stitch on top of it all the way round, like I just showed illustrated right now. Okay. Now I decided to cut the joining part. Remember we cut out 33, okay, and our full length is 38. So we are supposed to cut 5 inch, but I decided to cut 7 inch because I'm going to join with 1/2 inch to the top, and I'm going to fold my down with 1/2 inch, and I'll be left with the remaining. It's better it's long than it's too short. That has been my theory. Okay, so I'm just cutting it out. So here I have 1.5 yard of fabric. I placed it, the length is just the full length of the Ankara. So what I did is just to cut my 7 inch, placing them, I cut them using the other one to place on it so as to make them equal and accurate. Okay, now I'm going to cut it. So I'll cut this other part as well. Ensure to cut them equal, okay, because when they are not equal you tend to have problem. So I'm trying to open it up because I want to have 4 pieces that I'm going to join into a straight strip of fabric. And the next thing I want to do after cutting them, I'm going to iron it to make them straight. Okay, and this is my fabric. Okay, this is my fabric. I want to trim it off to make it even. Okay, so this is me trimming out everything to make it even. After doing that, I'm going to go over to my machine, join these 4 pieces of fabric that I have here on the table. I have by 45, depending on your own fabric, by 45. That's what I'm trying to show you. And the next thing I'm going to do is to join it. I'm just trying to let you know that I added extra 2 inch to this fabric, okay, because of what I'm going to join up and my folding behind. I like explaining a lot because some people tend to find some things difficult, okay, and that's me showing you how I'm going to bend it and all that. So I'm going to go over to my machine and stitch this piece together and do a gathers, and I'll join it around on my gown, and that will be the next thing you're going to see, the finished look. So you can see my dress is ready. I've already hemmed it down, joined my flay, hemmed my down properly, and I've given it a good press. Okay, I've done my serging inside out of my fabric. Okay, everywhere is popping. You can see how the red brought it out. I went ahead to put my button underneath. You can see how well laid it is behind. The dress is given with this red. I made a strip of fabric, multiplying my waist by 2, and I made a belt for it. The next thing is the finished work. That's me on my dress.